Hi, I'm Anushka. Let me start with a simple observation first. Over the past few years, we've seen record breaking heat waves, erratic monsoons, floods in cities like Mumbai and Chennai, and severe droughts in other parts of India. These are not just environmental concerns anymore, they are serious economic challenges. Today, I will be talking about climate change and its economic impact on India, along with its causes and possible solutions. First, let's briefly understand what climate change means. Climate change refers to long term changes in temperature and weather patterns primarily caused by human activities such as burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrialization. Now, why is this especially important for India? India is one of the most climate vulnerable countries in the world. According to estimates, nearly 50% of India's workforce is dependent on agriculture, which is highly sensitive to climate conditions. Additionally, a large part of our population lives in climate sensitive regions like coastal areas and flood prone zones. Let me now explain the economic impact. First, that is the impact on agriculture. Agriculture contributes around 15 to 16% to India's GDP and supports nearly half the population. Climate change disrupts monsoons, leading to crop failures. For example, studies suggest that climate change could reduce yields of major crops like rice and wheat by 10 to 30% by 2050. This directly affects farmers' incomes and also leads to rising food prices, contributing to inflation. Second, that is the impact on infrastructure and economic losses. India faces frequent extreme weather events, cyclones, floods, and heat waves. According to global estimates, India loses around 2% of its GDP annually due to climate related disruptions. Floods alone cause billions of dollars in damage every year, affecting roads, railways, housing, and power supply. Third, the impact on labor productivity and health. Due to rising temperatures, India is expected to lose over 5% of total working hours by 2030, especially in sectors like construction and agriculture. Heat stress also increases healthcare costs and reduces overall workforce efficiency. Fourth, the impact on overall economic growth. A report by the World Bank suggests that climate change could push over 45 million Indians into poverty by 2030 if no action is taken. This shows that climate change is not just slowing growth, it is also affecting inclusivity and development. Now, let's look at the causes behind this issue. The primary cause is greenhouse gas emissions. India is currently the third largest emitter of carbon dioxide in the whole world, largely due to its dependence on coal, which still accounts for around 70% of electricity generation. Second is rapid urbanization and industrialization. India's cities are expanding quickly, increasing energy demand, vehicle usage, and pollution levels. Third is deforestation. Forests act as carbon sinks, but their depletion reduces our ability to absorb emissions. Lastly, unsustainable practices in agriculture and consumption, such as excessive groundwater use and overuse of fertilizers, further worsen the problem. Now, coming to the solutions. First, India must accelerate its transition to renewable energy. India has already set a target of achieving 500 gigawatts of non fossil fuel capacity by 2030, which is a significant step towards reducing emissions. Second, we need to invest in climate resilient infrastructure. Designing cities and infrastructure that can withstand floods, heat waves, and cyclones can reduce long term economic losses. Third, sustainable agriculture is crucial. This includes better irrigation systems, crop diversification, and promoting climate resilient seeds to protect farmers' incomes. Fourth, stronger policy interventions are required. This includes stricter environmental regulations, incentives for green technologies, and possibly carbon pricing mechanisms. Finally, individual and corporate responsibility also matters. Energy conservation, sustainable consumption, and responsible business practices can collectively contribute to reducing climate impact. To conclude, climate change is not just an environmental issue, it is a major economic threat to India's growth, employment, and poverty reduction efforts. However, if India continues to invest in clean energy, sustainable development, and climate resilience, it can turn this challenge into an opportunity for long term inclusive growth. Thank you.